and welcome again to The Secrets of Meaning, the podcast all of Jewish Sacred Aging. I'm Rabbi Rifat Sonsino, the Director of Jewish Sacred Aging and the host of these podcasts. Thank you very much for joining us. As we've discussed before, these podcasts hope to explore issues related to our own aging and the implications of longevity for our families and community. We welcome your comments at rabbiaddress@jewishsacredaging.com, and we invite you to visit our website, jewishsacredaging.com, and the Facebook page for Jewish Sacred Aging. And it is with a great deal of pleasure that we welcome to our podcast today Rabbi Rifat Sonsino, the Rabbi Emeritus of Temple Beth, Shalom in Needham, Massachusetts, a noted author, scholar, and someone I've known, full disclosure, for a couple of years. So Rifat, welcome. Welcome to Secrets of Meaning. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for having me. Delighted to be here.
It's our pleasure and our honor. Thank you very much. There's lots of things I want to go over with you. But let me get right to the heart of something that you're really one of the leading spokespeople for, I think, in the entire country, if not the entire Jewish world. Your origins are Turkish. You were born and raised in Turkey. You came to the United States, served congregations all over the United States. And one of your passions in your writing, and you have and your blog, which you'll have to remind people what the name of the blog is and how to get it. And it has to do with the Sephardic community. So could you just walk us through, because the majority of the people listening to this or watching this are probably going to be Ashkenazi in background. And they may have heard of, well, there's this other Jewish community that's in the Middle East, and they do things differently, and they eat different things on Passover. And so could you give us a really thumbnail introduction to Sephardic Jewry 101?
Delighted to do that. It's true. I was born in Turkey into a Sephardic community. I grew up Orthodox, and then I became Reformed when I discovered Reformed Judaism. When I came to Cincinnati to study at the Hebrew Union College, I realized that people thought that what I was bringing to the college in my religious practices were very different from theirs. So I realized that there's a big gap between Ashkenazic Jewry and Sephardic Jewry. So I decided to investigate that a little bit more. Technically speaking, a Sephardic Jew is one who derives his or her background from Spain. Jews arrived in Spain in the year 711 with Tariq ibn Ziyad, who crossed the Straits of Gibraltar, conquered Spain, and Jews followed him. When Jews arrived in Spain, they discovered a small Jewish community, but they overtook them very quickly. And things went very well for Jews in Spain for a long period of time. Great luminaries appeared, Ibn Ezra, Maimonides, and all those great guys. But things changed when the Northerners, the Christian Northerners, started to push down the Arabs. And as a result of that, things changed dramatically for the Jewish community. There was a pogrom in Seville in 1391. And then finally, Ferdinand and Isabel issued the famous decree of expulsion in 1480 in the 80s, and Jews had to leave Spain, never to return until the modern time. So when Jews left Spain, they went through Europe and eventually were welcomed into the Ottoman Empire, where they established a culture of their own. So today, we're talking about Ashkenazic Jews who come from Germany, Eastern Europe, and that part of the world, Sephardic Jews who go back to Spain, and then there is another group of Jews called Mizrahi Jews who never went to Spain, but lived, let's say, in Iran, in Ethiopia, but they follow the Sephardic pattern. So that's why we talk about two major groups, including the Mizrahi Jews, which I consider them as part of the Sephardic world.
And the growth in the Sephardic awareness, how much of the Sephardic influence is now evident in the Jewish communities of Central America and Latin America and South America? Are they predominantly Sephardic, or are they Ashkenazi in their origins, specifically post-World War II? Do you have a sense of that?
Well, my first pulpit after ordination was in Argentina, and the Argentinian Jewish community was heavily Ashkenazic. There was a small Sephardic Jewish community, but for all practical purposes, Ashkenazic Jews are in the majority, except for the Middle East and other countries. And that's the problem, because Ashkenazic Jews have very little information about Sephardic Jewish life. Let me give you an example how things started even at the college. I get to the college in Cincinnati in 1961, and as a freshman, I was supposed to lead the services in the chapel. So I attended chapel a couple of times, and I realized that everybody's reading the Hebrew in Ashkenazic Hebrew. I don't know that. So I went to see Dr. Glick, who was the president. I said, Dr. Glick, I'm from Turkey. I'm a Sephardic Jew. There's no way I can pronounce Hebrew that way. I got to do it the way I'm accustomed to. So he said, for you, I'll make an exception. So I led the services in Sephardic, and from then on, all of my classmates turned Sephardic.
I remember that chapel very, very well.
Yeah.
In the old days, with the balcony,
Yes, with the balcony, a great image. But today in Israel, Jews use Sephardic pronunciation, but use the Ashkenazic script. So today there's an accommodation, a little bit of both.
So is there a growth in the United States in the Sephardic community? You mentioned the Iranians, and we know when I started out my career in Los Angeles, there was a growing number of Iranian Jews who were coming in to live there. Is there a shift, a subtle shift in various parts of the United States?
There is not that much in numbers, but in awareness. Sephardic Jews are becoming, especially in the States, are becoming much more aware of their background, and they are very proud of their background. So at a time when we never talked about the differences, now Sephardic Jews are standing on their own and proclaiming the differences and all that. On the other hand, there's a great deal of interfaith marriages, so to speak, between Ashkenazic Jews and Sephardic Jews. My wife is Ashkenazic, I'm Sephardic, but she likes to cook Sephardic. I like that.
You know, speaking of that, do you think this may sound like a silly question, but the food, do you think one of the reasons why there's a greater interest in Sephardic Judaism is because of the food?
Oh, yeah. The food is a major element. I mean, Sephardic Jews eat very differently from Ashkenazic Jews. I had never seen matzah ball soup. I never seen kreplach. I never seen things that everybody claims is Jewish food that came from Mount Sinai. That's not the case. We ate very differently. We ate Mediterranean style.
So one of the things, again, speaking about food, this comes up always around Passover, where all of a sudden they become Sephardic for a week.
Oh, absolutely. We eat rice. We eat rice without sense of guilt, whereas Ashkenazic Jews don't.
No. So what other delicacies? What's your favorite dish that from your growth, from childhood?
Well, baklava.
Oh, wow.
Sweets.
Baklava. Right, sweets.
Sweets and all kinds of things. But we ate the way Turks ate or Greeks ate. We are very much Mediterranean in that part of the world. So that's why I can identify easily with Jews who live in Egypt, in Israel, in the Middle East, and all that. We eat and do things the same way.
We're speaking with Rabbi Rifat Sonsino, the Rabbi Emeritus of Temple Beth Shalom in Needham, Massachusetts, an author and scholar. We've been talking about Sephardic Judaism. I want to come back to Rabbi Sonsino, Rifat, in just one second, but I want to make our viewers and our listeners aware of an interesting offer and opportunity that Yeshiva University and the Wurzweiler School of Social Work is making available. I'd like to announce, and very happy to announce, an upcoming series of open houses for the gerontology and palliative care program for Jewish clergy. I am on that faculty. It's sponsored by the Wurzweiler School of Social Work at Yeshiva University. It's an online program that offers clergy the knowledge base and skills to better meet the needs of our aging congregations. It's a very, very powerful and very interesting program, all online, which you need to know. The program, it consists of 6 courses that begin this year on October the 24th. If you're interested in attending one of the open houses, or if you're interested in finding out more about this very, very exciting, it's an interdenominational program. I'd invite you to please contact Rabbi Liz Rawley. Her email is capital L-I-Z dot capital R-O-L-L-E at yu.edu to request more information of the program. And there's a series of open houses that you can attend on August the 16th or September 23rd or October the 4th. That's Rabbi Liz Rawley, L-I-Z, capital L-I-Z dot capital R-O-L-L-E at yu.edu. Rifat, you've just written in your blog. How does somebody get a hold of your blog? What's the name of your blog?
The name of my blog is Sonsino's Blog, and I have over 600,000 viewers around the world.
Wow. So that's a nice congregation.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just wrote recently about your move, your and Inez's move from the house to the Willows.
Right.
This is a situation that occupies a lot of conversations. In the last month or a month and a half, we've had a couple of podcasts of people from CCRCs, continuing care, retirement communities, independent living communities, senior living facilities, talking about the transitions, talking about the shift in ages. There's as you know, there's a lot of change in the industry. Could you just, for the vapors of people listening who may be considering this, who may be thinking about, well, can I do this? Could you just walk me through some of the process of this transition? What was it like after all the years? You retired, you had the house, you downsized, you moved in. It's a very, very different lifestyle, or is it? Could you just walk us through that?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. We've been at the Willows already 3 years. We've been here for 3 years. I'm about to turn 83 in September. When I turned 80, Inez, my wife, and I started to talk about our future. We really didn't need a huge house. Our children are away. The grandchildren have their own life. And we started to think about what will happen to us. And we realized that we're getting older, and we need to go to a place where we will be taken care of. So we decided to look for places and found this place in Westboro, Massachusetts. It's a huge complex. We live in the independent living quarters of that huge complex. We have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, much smaller than the big house that I had in the past. And my biggest problem was what to do with my library. because there was no way that I could bring my entire library here, and I had to give away a number of my books. And I had a hard time dealing with encyclopedias. Nobody wants an encyclopedia anymore. You can find them online anyway. So now we live here. They come and clean our house, our apartment. We go downstairs to the restaurant for dinner. We have programs, activities, and after 3 years, I ended up becoming the president of the Resident Association.
Oh my God.
So now I have another congregation of my own dealing with everybody's problems. And I have an executive committee and a board meeting. So in that respect, life hasn't changed.
My God, why did you do that? It's like worse than the congregation.
I know, but they needed somebody to handle this. And I have the experience, and I like being here. I wanted to make some changes. I said, okay, I'll do it. And now, on top of everything, my executive director resigned. We're getting a new executive director. We're getting a new chef. So I am in the middle of a major crisis right now, and I have to handle this with my executive board and board. So back to the old work.
No, it's just like The Godfather. You know, just when you think it's out, they pull you back in. But you wrote in one of your blogs recently a lovely piece. I think it was entitled "Life Expectancy Then and Now," and you trace some of the textual issues and life expectancy, biblical understanding, and the idea of the zaken. This is a major transition for most people who move from the house or they downsize into a facility. They're continuing independent living, continuing care, assisted living, whatever the choices may be. On a spiritual level, on the level that we may not talk about too much, but really is where the neshama lives. How has this affected you? Is this how has it affected you? This forget the institutional, working and stuff, but in your gut and your neshama.
It affected me tremendously because I realized that I'm getting older. There are things that I could do in the past that I can no longer do. My memory is not as good as it used to be, but I'm still active. I still walk every day and all that. And the problem that we had was to decide to move. There is no magic formula as to when is the right time to move. There is no right time to move. When you feel you need to, you have to. And we felt, Ines and I felt that this is the time for us to move and downsize. And I'm glad we did, because we're happy where we are. We feel safe and secure. I didn't have to look for places to get the shot for COVID. They came to us. We're taken care of, and I feel safe. And that is a very important element for my well-being.
Everybody's well-being. And I think what's one of the attractive things about, as I've talked to people who make this transition, there's a sense of being taken care of in a community that, sort of like has almost like a Sukkot Shalom around it. And it can keep things away. But that leads me to follow up on some of the more spiritual aspects of where you are in life that really impact a lot of the people who follow us on Jewish Sacred Aging and these podcasts. And you've written quite a lot about this. You've published this whole series of books, a lot of things to do with faith and spirituality and finding God. Like that's one of your best-selling books. So they're all available on Amazon. In your transition, in this path now, in these last several years of how has your faith changed, Rifat? Has
Oh
the
yeah,
confrontation?
tremendously,
Talk to me about
tremendously.
has that changed?
As I grow older, I find myself becoming more and more radical.
Radical.
I'm radical. I am more and more rational in my approach. In fact, I am right now in the process of writing a book with a colleague of mine dealing with Jewish religious naturalism, where God is viewed not as a persona in the theistic system, but as the energy of the universe. I don't believe in miracles. I take science at its worst, at its best.
Best, right.
At its best. I don't believe in myths. I know that after I die, I will not go any place like heaven and hell. There is no such a thing. Heaven and hell is here on this earth. I will be cremated, and the only thing that will remain behind will be my books, my reputation, and my name. I don't expect anything like that. And I am content with that idea. I believe the theistic view of life is not real. And I want to deal with reality. And I much rather deal with reality and struggle with it than deal with poetry that is not going to give me any peace of mind.
Having said that, how do you then look at, which may have been one of the motivations of the book, I don't know, but how do you look at the contemporary field of faith, which seems to be so polarized?
Very polarized. I am not concerned about religious people who talk to each other. The fundamentalists can talk to each other. The scientists can talk to each other. I am concerned about my dentist, my plumber, the intelligent adult, Jewish adult in the community, and I'm afraid we're losing them. We're losing them because they cannot conceive of God in the old way. And because they cannot believe in that, they turn anti-religious, or they identify religion with social action. For many people today, religion is nothing but social action. I'm in favor of social action, but there is more than social action to religion. God, for me, is the energy of the universe, and we've got to deal with that energy, celebrate that energy, and live through it. And hopefully, my plumber, my dentist, my doctor will be able to relate to that positive, rationalistic viewpoint and will stay within. Otherwise, people are leaving synagogues. Christians are leaving the church because they can't believe in this the old system anymore. And for me, that's very serious.
Is there then a faith deficit, to just coin a phrase, right now in the contemporary American Jewish community, at least the non-Orthodox community? Let's just stick with
absolutely. There is a great deficit because many people cannot go with the theistic view of God, so they decided that the only way to hold on to it is to become active in social action, and that's fine. Equality, justice, and it's fine, it's correct. But that's not the entire religion. There is a spiritual aspect to it, but my spirituality is very rational. And I think my view is in consonance with the view of many other Jews in the community, and that's why we're in the process of writing an entire book, looking at the world from a rational point of view, and I hope that will convince many other Jews and will stay within the realm.
Can you talk a little bit about the book, or is it too early?
Well, the book includes a number of articles. We've contacted a number of colleagues who share our religious naturalistic view, and each one is writing from a different perspective. We have articles about miracles, myths, and the biggest problem is prayer. I do not, from my point of view, God as the energy of the universe is that, just God is. But God does not hear, does not respond, does not. You got to deal with God as the energy. So how do you deal with our prayer book?
How do you?
How do you deal with prayers of healing? I wrote a prayer of healing that does not expect any answer from above, accept the reality as is and try to accommodate it. So that is a major shift in the thinking of many people who are akin to my thinking. And I think my thinking is correct. It gives me peace of mind, and I think others will do the same.
Do you think one of the reasons why people are moving away from going to services, to use that phrase, is because the words don't mean anything? They're there perhaps, they're there for the fellowship, for the relationships, for their friends. Yeah. But when they read the prayers, there's no resonance within their soul.
It cannot, because they realize that there's nobody responding to their pleas. So they're asking, is God deaf, not caring? And that's the wrong approach. God is the energy. God is not caring or not caring. That's what God is. To expect God to respond to some prayers and not to the prayers of others creates a problem. So that's why I don't think people really believe what they're saying. They're mumbling the words, but they really don't believe what they're saying, many people.
So Rifat, where's the role of faith? What is faith then to you? What do you have faith in a religious or spiritual?
I have faith in nature. I have faith in nature. I study nature. Nature has all kinds of mysteries. For me, prayer is discovery, expression of wishes, and the more we know about nature, the better off we're going to be. Is nature perfect? We don't know. But there are a lot of things about nature that we do not know. And that's the only thing that we have. That's the only thing that we can investigate, analyze, and live by it. The others are just dreaming, just expecting things that will never happen.
Do you think people need, though, myth? Do you think people need superstition? Do you think people need that?
Yeah, but they don't believe in it. They superstition, yeah, but they don't, in their heart of hearts, they don't think they believe in them. They want to have a rational answer to their daily problems, because that's the only answer there is. The others are just dreaming. It's not going to happen.
And when do you expect this book to be out?
Well, we're halfway through. We have one publishing house that showed interest. We're waiting to hear from them if they're going to take us on. And then hopefully by the end of the year, we'll have a better idea. We're almost halfway through. What I find interesting is that my younger colleagues are threatened by my thinking.
Yes.
I'm sure the union is not happy with me because all their prayer books are written from a theistic point of view. And here comes Sonsino that destroys that whole belief. What are they going to do with all the prayer books that they have published? For me, it's berachah levatala, wasteful prayers. They have no reality. They have no meaning. No wonder they are threatened by me.
The generational issue is something really, one day when the book comes out, and I will invite you back, I would really like to pursue, because I find more resonance to what you're talking about amongst many of my colleagues of our generation,
Yes.
than I do with my students at at the seminaries,
Right.
the variety of seminaries that I teach at.
Right.
That's something. Why do you think that? Why do you think there's this generational difference? Do you think it's? Why do you think?
I must say that it's much easier to believe in a theistic view of God, because there are some answers, even though the answers are not satisfactory to me. My philosophy is an open-ended, and it's not for many people. That is the problem in and of itself. Nature needs to be discovered. The secrets of nature are not known to us. We've made we're covered a long way, but we're not there yet. But that for me is exciting. Every day for me is a day of discovery. But other colleagues find much more peace in their own beliefs, and they go to Kabbalah and so on, which I believe is absolutely nonsense. Absolutely nonsense. For me.
Wow. Okay. That's a good way to stop, and a good way to say we'll have to continue this conversation, especially when the book comes out. Hopefully you'll be able to come back and one of your co-authors, and good luck with the publishing too. This is, I think, Rifat, and honestly, I think it's a book that's due. It's due at this stage in a lot of our careers. So good luck. Hatzlacha with that.
Thank you.
And
Thank you very
much for joining us today, and continue good luck, and stay healthy. Hello to Inez, and just be well, and take care of Massachusetts for us, okay?
Thank you. Stay well.
Thank
Nice being with you. Bye-bye.
And to all of you, Shalom. To all of you, thank you again for watching or listening to today's edition of Seekers of Meaning, the TV show and podcast of Jewish Sacred Aging. Remember, this is available now on the Roku network. We welcome your comments and suggestions, again, to rabbi address at jewishsacredaging.com. And if you'd like to make a tax-free donation to help support our work, go to the website and click on the donate button. Seekers of Meaning is produced at the Broadcast Center of Lubetkin Media Companies in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And again, a big shout out to our genius producer, Steve Lubetkin. Thank you. I am your host, Rabbi Richard Address, and I look forward to greeting you on our next Seekers of Meaning TV show and podcast. And until then, stay healthy, everyone. Shalom.